After the year 1066, England was not merely conquered, it was fundamentally rewritten. The language of law, the architecture of power, and the very identity of the island were ripped apart by a single act of invasion, leaving behind a silence that echoed with resistance, but ultimately yielded nothing. How could the Anglo-Saxons, who had ruled for centuries, fail to overthrow the Norman tide and reclaim their homeland? Before the long shadow of the Normans fell across the Channel, Britain was a patchwork of powerful Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, a fractured landscape defined by ancient loyalties and shifting tribal lines. These realms, born from migrations across the North Sea, possessed a deep, inherited sense of sovereignty, rooted in local custom and inherited kingship. Before we continue, very few of you are subscribed while many of you watch the videos. So if you like the content, please click like and subscribe because it helps the channel grow. Yet this vast political geography proved brittle when faced with an organized, ruthless military force intent on absolute domination. The initial resistance was not a unified war, but a scattering of localized fury. When Duke William arrived, he initially offered clemency, allowing some Saxon nobles to pledge fealty, but appeasement proved worthless against the reality of conquest. In the West, ambitious figures like Edric the Wild turned guerrilla warfare into a bloody stalemate, ravaging the lands of Herefordshire and Shropshire in desperate attempts to disrupt Norman control. Across the Channel, other lords attempted to leverage external forces, sending emissaries seeking aid from continental rivals to seize key fortifications, only to be repulsed by the strength of William's garrisons. These rebellions were isolated events, lacking the scale necessary to challenge an established military hierarchy. While local leaders fought fiercely, their efforts remained fractured, a series of desperate skirmishes that failed to coalesce into a cohesive strategy capable of confronting the massive Norman army. The lack of coordinated action allowed the conqueror to isolate and crush opposition one by one, transforming scattered defiance into extinguished memory. The true failure lay not in battlefield defeat, but in the insurmountable systemic shift that followed. As William's hold solidified, the linguistic and legal landscape was irrevocably altered. Norman French swiftly became the language of law, administration, and high society, effectively creating a new ruling class that spoke a different reality than the native English-speaking peasantry. Scholars sometimes describe this period not as conquest, but as colonization, especially during the 12th and 13th centuries, as the Normans spent their time in Europe, treating England as a strategic possession to be exploited. When the resistance did flare up again, driven by figures like Edgar Atheling seeking alliances across the sea, the Norman structure was already too entrenched. The vast numbers of Anglo-Saxons simply could not match the organizational might and the deep, unforgiving roots of their foreign rulers. The fragmented nature of dissent meant that no single uprising could breach the unified power of the new regime. The ultimate consolidation of power was cemented through physical structures. Land ownership was entirely restructured, dividing territory among hundreds of Norman landholders who owed fealty to the crown. Crucially, castles were erected across the landscape, not just as defensive walls, but as symbols of absolute control designed specifically to restrict native rule and enforce a new feudal order. By the end of William's reign, the old Anglo-Saxon administrations had been dissolved entirely. The political vacuum was filled by an aristocracy whose wealth and power were derived not from ancient lineage, but from Norman tenure. This was a complete dismantling. The ancestral dynasties were extinguished, and only those few families who controlled land and subsequently provided military service to the new order remained powerful. The failure of the Anglo-Saxons was thus not merely a military defeat, but the irreversible collapse of an entire socio-political structure, replaced by a system designed for foreign dominion.